shut off again. I'm really going to have to look at that. So if I had only glued it here and here on each side, and maybe a little bit down the spine, I would have a nice little tuck spot where I could tuck something in there, a piece of paper or a little tag or whatnot. And then my new favorite thing that I got, paper eaters. They're the corner rounders. There's a small one and a larger one. So that you can see this has little tiny round, but if I use the larger round, now I'll have to do all 4 corners, but see, you get, so there's a little tiny round and this one's a larger rounded corner. But those are very fun. Those are my first time, and now I'm using it on everything because it's so much fun. So that's what I've been trying to do, and that's what will happen with a lot of these pages is I have a smaller size. I bought a set of old encyclopedias that were falling apart, and they were little mini encyclopedias. Let me see if I have this is another project I'm working on for the 100 Days project. That's my pile of stuff I've been collecting for 10 minutes a day, every day. I need to start getting to work on that. But I have these, so the covers are this size. This was a little encyclopedia set. It's a little glossy. It's kind of a pebbled, textured surface. I don't know if that's going to come off. But I cut all the spines off because they were in really bad shape. What I'm going to do with this is take the front and the back cover and punch holes. And then for the 100 Days project, let's see if I have, where's the index card? So I did, I cut these down to size. And I put words on them that describe me, that people have said about me, how I feel about myself, ugly things men say to women, and then I'm going to turn them into collage pieces, something beautiful. So this is about being old and fat, and what that makes you in society largely is invisible. And I kind of like that as I've gotten older because people sort of discount me. It's like the waiter or the waitress in the restaurant, and they say things in front of me either because they just don't see me because I'm not young and attractive and skinny. I'm not a MILF, you know, I recognize my own faults. So that just, it makes me invisible. People just completely discount me and will say things in front of me that I think they probably wouldn't say to anyone else. And I just like, there's some detriment to it. It can lead to feelings of loneliness. But most of how I feel now is invisible. And it just allows me to pass through life and do the things I want to do. And people don't really get in my way, and they don't question what I'm doing for the most part. So it has its benefits. But being invisible can be painful too if you're not comfortable with that invisibility. You know, being an older woman, being overweight, people look at you, especially men, and they just go, nope, without bothering to get to know you at all, unless it's a contrived interaction where you work with people or you see them regularly in the process of, you know, shopping, going to various group meetings or club meetings, that sort of thing. So for a woman who looks like me or who is older, overweight, or has health issues, that can lead to a lot of loneliness and pain. And I feel that a little bit, but for the most part, I'm comfortable with who I am, and I'm working on my weight for health reasons, not because I want to be more attractive to men. I kind of am okay with not being the focus of being that kind of MILF sort of person where men are still pursuing you because of the end of my marriage. I'm kind of over that, and I may be over that for the rest of my life. I don't know. Sometimes I feel a twinge where I think I might want to open up again, but again, being overweight and older, men seem to think they're doing you a favor if they pay you any attention at all, and they get very insulted when you turn them down, and that turns ugly very quickly. And I've seen it for others, and I've seen it for myself. So if a man deigns to show you any attention and you rebuff him, that can get very ugly, and that makes me uncomfortable, and that's part of the reason why I haven't really got back out trying to meet people or anything like that. My son's now over the age of 18, so I did not date at all when he was growing up and living with me, because biologically my son is female, and you just never know. There's a lot of weird, disturbed people out in the world, and I didn't want to put my son in a position to be abused or to be uncomfortable, so I just didn't date at all for a good number of years. And then, you know, the first couple of whacks out of the out of the gate when I could date ended very badly. And this is before I was quite as old. I've kind of been this weight for maybe a decade and a half, so it's not like I was any thinner. But one of the guys was an alcoholic, it turned out. You know, it's not like he said, "Hi, I'm you know, nice to meet you, I'm an angry alcoholic." No, that came out months and months after we'd been dating, and things got kind of ugly. So having made a bad choice in marriage that ended poorly, and then having that relationship, I've just kind of been done with it for a while. But that's the story behind The Invisible, and I'll write a little blurb on the back for when it's done. But by putting the binder rings in there, I have a greater flexibility, because you can get a 1-inch binder ring all the way up to 5 or 6 inches. So that book can get as thick as I would like it to. As it is, it's probably going to have about 25 index cards, that size, little collages, maybe with some tabbed edges and some other fun embellishing stuff. But it will be probably whatever the size of the book was. I think it was a 3/4 inch spine on that when I originally cut them apart. Give me a second, I need to drink something. And my coffee is getting very cold. So I have a number of projects going on, and then I'm just tea dyeing the snot out of some papers. I'm experimenting with different teas, different strengths of coffee. I'm doing this is with Rit dye, this is with beet dye. I have a head of red cabbage in the refrigerator, which I'm told yields a kind of purpley color. And then I think I read, or somebody told me, I'm not sure which, that if you add baking soda, that it turns into kind of this greeny, grungy color. And so I want to experiment with that. That's probably what I'm going to be doing later today, is boiling the cabbage down and getting ready to experiment with that. So I'll be doing more experiments with various food items that I can dye with. The beet dye came out really nice. I really love that. I had a lot of fun with the coffee. This is a music page that's dyed. You can see, and I got a lot of variation in terms of color and what came about. And I'll grab some pages just so that I can kind of demonstrate the difference for what I got and the various things that I tea dyed and coffee dyed. But here's the crinkle. I love the crinkly nature of it. So this is more drippy. Like the tea that I used on this was very light. It was almost imperceptible. And here I have to go through and wipe the pages, but very splotchy and fun. This had some contamination. There's a little bit of beet on this. And I've been experimenting with laying the papers on top of each other to dry them. So sometimes you get these areas where you get a much lighter and then a darker. This is where the papers were together. And the other one is darker on the bottom. But you can see this is what my hands have looked like. They've been blue. For a couple of days they were blue because I did this blue Rit dye thing. And I made so much dye on accident that I was dyeing stuff blue forever. This is some graph paper that's been done, and you can see coffee, and this one is tea. This is a peach tea that I did, and I got kind of this browny orange color. I did some steno paper. These are tea, but this one in the back here, that's coffee. The coffee was kind of weak that day.